We're back and out of frame. Well, it's because I reorganized my desk and everything is messed up. I don't want this here. We're back. He's back. And making a nest in my nicely folded up blanket. Really? Sorry. You're gonna have to see that. I didn't realize how hard this was gonna be to say whenever I thought of the idea. We're back for another weekly reading diary. Got it. I'm sorry that it's late, but it's better late than never. I've had a crazy past couple weeks, so please forgive me for that. Just because we're late on the weekly video doesn't mean that we didn't have a good reading week, because we did, okay? We had a great reading. We had a great week for reading.
Can we start the story now?
Let's see, let me just rewind my gears back to what happened last week. So last week, I finally made my trip to Barnes & Noble. I know in one of the videos I really wanted to go, but it was really icy. Our driveway was covered in 3 inches of ice. It melted. It's a whopping 50 degrees here. So yeah, I ended up going to Barnes & Noble, and of course we bought some books. Didn't need them at all. But I've been on a short story kick lately. I wanted to just get some short stories that I could read in between some of these bigger books that I have on my TBR, because I got some big books on the TBR that I'm so excited for, but that satisfying feeling of finishing a book and having a complete story is just that. It's satisfying. So I want some more of that in my life. Hence, more short stories. I'm going to start with what I read. So, what I read last week is one of the books that I picked up, I believe in the last book haul I did. I finished The Stranger by Albert Camus, which, by the way, thank you to the person who told me how to pronounce it, because I said it wrong the last time. I finished it. This book, here's the thing. I gave it 3 stars, and I don't like star ratings to begin with. The only reason I do it is because Goodreads makes you do it. Actually, that's a lie. They don't make you do it. So, yeah, you don't have to give a book a star rating. So maybe I'll just stop giving star ratings. I liked this book. It was different from what I usually read, that's for sure. This was an interesting, thought-provoking story. Honestly, it gave me such existential dread. Basically, this guy, he's in prison, and we're kind of going through his experience while he's there, and it's just a dreadful experience seeing that through his POV. I hope I never have to experience something like that, because I'm thinking about it right now and it's actually making my heart race. But being in closed, confined spaces, I hate it. This was one of those things where I was just like feeling like I couldn't breathe the whole time. But I do think it was really important because it has a lot of different themes that I've never really, I've pondered before, but I've never, I don't know. He explains things a lot in a different light. I was a little confused by the ending. I still think that this is something that I think everyone should try if you ever get the chance, because I think it's still a very cool short story to read in a day. You're not really wasting time reading this one. But I do think it was very interesting, and it had a lot of thought-provoking themes about life, about death, the way that society thinks you're supposed to act, feel. I say give this a try if you want something quick to read, and let me know your thoughts, because I'm still processing what I read. It's probably one of those reads that you might have to read again to truly understand what's going on. I don't know. Anyways, I read that, and I finished that last week, and how satisfying was that? So, what I finished last week is what I learned in boarding school is what I finally finished last week is, Golden Sun. I now understand what you people have been telling me this entire time. Why you love this book, why it shatters your entire being. Yeah, I get it now. So, here's the thing. And I won't go too far into this because, like I said, I want to do a whole video about this entire series eventually. I love this series, okay? I love this series. I really do. I just think that sometimes I get really caught up we're never really given a description about what certain things are, and that bugs me. I understand that too much exposition or too much description, some people don't like that, like they really don't care, but I just need a little bit so I can picture it in my brain. This is when it starts to get very, very science fiction. We're completely immersed in space at this point. That was very different for me, especially because a lot of the things that we are introduced to in this book, we're just not really given an explanation of what they are. And I know that some people have told me, like, you just kind of just skim over it. But for me, I need to understand it so I can understand what's happening. Because something big will happen at the end of a paragraph, but I was sitting there trying to understand where, like, the people are and, like, what is going on and the logistics of what is happening, that whenever I read the sentence of something crazy that just happened, I'm like, what? Wait, hold on, I was still trying to figure out what this spaceship looks like. There were a lot of moments where I understand I probably should have just, like, kept going, but to my point, the reason that it bugged me is because something big would happen, and I'm still back there. I'm still at the restaurant. Taylor Swift. I'm still at the restaurant trying to figure out what is happening. So anyways, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just really me, I think, and my very limited experience reading science fiction. That's probably the issue here. Like, the writing in this book is phenomenal. Pierce Brown, when it comes to characters and making you feel, he has such great one-liners that I remember whenever in Red Rising, the first book, I picked it up and I started reading. I'm like, oh my gosh, like right away. Like, he knows how to really drive a feeling home and make you feel things, okay? And yeah, the last few pages of this book, I was feeling things. Like, sometimes I'll forget. Like, after I finished this book, the whole next day, I kept just thinking about it, and then I would have a moment of peace where I forgot about it, and then it comes back to me of what just happened in that book, and I go, God, no. This series is the type of series that when you read the last few pages, you're like, well, now I need to know, and I need to pick up the next one. No. Okay, guys, I'm not allowed to pick up Morningstar until I get through a good chunk of the rest of my TBR, because this series derailed my TBR. So I am not allowed to pick up Morningstar until at least, like, the summertime. I'm sticking to it. I have other things I need to read, so I refuse. I can't do it. But anyways, I love this story. I'm going to finish the series. I mean, my gripes are small. They're minor. I'm sure that it'll be fine as I keep going. So, yeah, I finally did it. How exciting. Next, I am still reading Jane Eyre. I'm listening to it. I'm out of audiobook hours. For this one, I definitely can just go to the other apps that I have in my library and pick up where I left off. But that's kind of what happened is I ran out of hours, so I stopped listening for a while. But I would say 12 hours left or something. Again, 22 hours. It's a good chunk, but it's not finished. So I'm still doing that. I have been recording. I've been recording my live reactions, and we're still working on it. The next thing that I'm currently reading, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. It's still so shiny. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I started this a couple days ago. As I was cleaning the house, I decided to start listening to it just so I can kind of get... Sometimes I like to start a book that I physically have, especially big ones like this. I like to start off audiobook just to get that, like, beginning stuff out of the way and listen to it, you know, while I'm doing other things, especially if I have other things I need to be doing, which I do have a lot of other things I need to be doing besides reading, but why? I don't want to. I started listening. I got pretty far. I mean, pretty far by almost 100 pages, but not quite. I'm excited to see where this goes. This would be my first Grady Hendrix book. Like I said, I have another one by him, and that is My Best Friend's Exorcism. My Best Friend's Exorcism is the one that I have yet to start. I tried starting it last year in the fall, like in the beginning of spooky season, but I guess I just had some other stuff that I prioritized over that, and I never ended up continuing. But I want to start that one again sometime. Maybe this year, again, for the fall. I think that would be a great one. Or actually, I do love reading spooky books in the summertime. I think it's like ever since Stranger Things, their whole thing about launching new seasons in the summer is just that feeling of spooky, scary stuff in the summertime is unmatched. I can't explain why that makes me so happy and why it's so comforting, but it is. So, and my best friend's Exorcism is very much like 80s, similar vibes to Stranger Things, so that's just a perfect read for the summer. So that's probably when I'm gonna read it. Hey, went on an entire tangent about another book, per usual. So yeah, I started that and I am enjoying it. Gotta get through the beginnings. So, and now I wanna go through the small book haul that I had when I went to Barnes & Noble. Like I said, trying to get some short stories here. So I picked up Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. I have seen this one a lot. Barnes & Noble is really advertising this on their shelves, but I've seen this one. I really wanted to give it a try, and it was really short, so I picked it up. If you guys have read this, let me know. I think it's about, I also really love the vibes. I wish I would have read this in December because it's about right before Christmas time. The other one that I got is, this is one of those that has been trending all over BookTube. Everyone has been reading this, it feels like, and I need to be better about hopping on the trend train so that way I can feel, so that way I don't have FOMO, because I get FOMO very easily. I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. The only reason I don't want to read it anytime soon is because the description is very much so giving the same vibes as The Stranger that I just read. And like I said, that book gave me existential dread about being stuffed in small places. So probably won't read this one that soon, but still pretty soon, like maybe at the end of March. I've heard that this is about women who have been imprisoned. It's in a dystopian society. They don't have any memories of why they're there, how they got there. It's a very cool concept. Hopefully I can get to this here soon because everyone's been talking about it and I want to know why. The next book I actually picked up, I picked this up because I looked at the cover and the cover was just so cool. Then I looked it up. It has almost like 5 stars on Goodreads. So that is The Master and Margarita. Look at this cover, you guys. That is so cool. Ugh, I love it. I didn't know what this was, but your boy, Harry Potter, has a blurb. My favorite novel. It's just the greatest explosion of imagination, craziness, satire, humor, and heart. Daniel Radcliffe. That's honestly the reason that I picked this up. Look at this cover. I mean, it's just so good. And the inside too. Oh, look at the flaps. The flaps. The flaps, you guys. If you've read this, let me know. The girl checking out said that she really wanted to read this and to come back and let her know, so I gotta do that. You guys let me know. How soon should I read this book? The concept seems really cool. So that was my haul. I think the next big book that I'm gonna start is Lonesome Dove. I'm almost positive, like I'm craving it. I need it. I want to read it now. So that was pretty much my week in books. Last week, I'm sorry this was so late. If you have any other recommendations, thoughts, things that you think I should check out based on some of these books, please let me know. Like, subscribe if you want to. If not for me, for that sweet chicken nugget. Look at him. He's gonna cry if you don't. I will see you guys soon. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Do great things out there. As always, keep reading. Love you so much. Thanks for being here. Bye.